Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the live stream. As you are fully aware, as you can see on the screen, I am joined by John the White and my special guest, Jack Rabbit. Hello, gentlemen, and how are we today? Are we all okay?
Good evening, Dobby. Yes, I'm very good. I'm also looking forward to giving our audience my good news tomorrow at the start of tomorrow's
Oh
stream.
yes,
But
certainly
tonight's
had.
not about me. Tonight
No,
is about Jack.
yes, it is indeed. So, shall we put it up on the screen so we can all see what we're about to discuss? Is that okay for everybody? Are we all
Yeah,
ready?
that's
3, 2, 1, and there we go. So, Jack, yes, interesting. It's been a day, mate. It's been a day, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I didn't expect this kind of fame for this reason, but there you go.
Oh, well, welcome to the trenches, sir. Welcome
No,
to the trenches.
I may not have gotten to meet him, but not many people can say they've been told that from
Their
from
hero.
Russell Davis. So that
Well,
I'm gonna take that as a
now.
compliment.
I'd like to point out something that we've discussed in the build up to doing the stream, which that
yeah,
Russell has blocked Jack
yes,
on Instagram, as a result of which he's no longer able to delete these posts.
exactly.
So because Jack has made them, and we're going to discuss how he came to make them and what his feelings were and why he felt that way.
Yep,
But because Jack has made these posts on Instagram and he's not able to delete them, he's now stuck with them. And on
yes,
that basis, we've had a good chat and decided it's better to get in front of it and give this the full context it needs.
yes, agreed. Absolutely 100%. So then,
Well, I suppose we better start
yes, we
with
best
aiming
get
for
in.
some context, hadn't we?
Yes,
Jack, in your own time, in your own way, let's approach this post and why you felt the need to make it and press send. How would you like to start digging into the first post rather than the reply? Let's look at the first post first,
yes,
the
we'll do
one
the
you
first
initially
post.
made.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I think we all know since about early this year, it has just been a continuous bombardment of the representation that we're getting in the show, and a lot of the wrong things, in my opinion, have been put forward, when they really should have been talking about monsters and all other cool things that were coming. And my opinions of Russell T Davis have been gradually declining over these past couple of months, especially. But I still continue to follow him on Instagram. And honestly, when he wasn't posting the god awful political speeches, which I'm going to keep
mm,
out of this conversation,
will
I
do.
thought he was a nice guy. He'd post one post I loved was where he bought a big 300 teabag bag and said, "Oh, best Christmas present ever." And I couldn't agree more.
Well, yeah,
Um, so I carried on supporting him, but I've seen a lot of stuff recently that just really hasn't made me happy. And I had a
Is
bit.
it fair to say that what we've seen in the promotion this year from the RTD production, there's been precious little about science fiction,
Yes,
mm,
and it's
and
just
that's a bit
that's the thing.
conspicuous. It's a bit conspicuous at this point, isn't it?
Just a lot.
absolutely. So I'd come off a bit of a bad day at work, and then to top that, I'm not blaming you, Gobby, of course, but I had seen your stream showing the less than appropriate images of Shooty Gatwa and the article
Mm,
that would say that Doctor Who would be going down a more insert slur word
yeah,
direction. So I
exactly.
was already heated enough. And then to come home and see, first thing I see on my Instagram, just wanted to, because usually I see funny cat videos and artwork and it's very satisfying. But then I saw this. And it was a post about the writers complaining about their pay when someone like myself is earning minimum wage in a part time job and is just getting through each day without protesting. And to see people who honestly, if they just stop focusing on all this politics and start, writing good stories, they would probably earn what they deserve. And I will admit this was probably a bit rash, and I'm not trying to say that RTD hasn't done great things or isn't a great writer. I mean, he is. There's no denying that. But I have just seen a lot of hypocrisy with this man. Speaking from rooms with crystal chandeliers and lecturing us about the real world, quote unquote, and all this stuff. And I think a part of me just that evening, I wasn't in the right mood, and I made a comment that I regret making. Now, I didn't expect to get a response. I
No.
honestly
Well,
thought,
why would you? I mean, how
Why?
many times was people fire off a response to RTD significantly more vociferous than yours, by the way, and it is never noticed or remarked upon?
well,
You
it
know,
has been, and actually, I've shared some screenshots over with Lee over the past months, where he has attacked fans, and
I didn't know about that.
I have
No, nor
seen it
me.
myself. Now, I am not going to share this because I know it's going to start a campaign, and that's not what I'm here to do. But all I know is that I have seen the way this man has behaved. He has got a very smug and very entitledness about him, leaving comments like, "Oh, poor baby, kiss, kiss, smile emoji, and rip your following." And of course, we all remember what he said to that Christian lad, calling him a
Mm,
Republican. See you next Tuesday.
Hmm.
yes.
It's
Yes,
this kind
indeed.
of attitude that I was sort of aware of could happen, but never thought would happen. And then only a few moments later to see it happen right in front of my face was a bit of a shock. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I probably would have taken that post down within an hour because I'm not a confrontational person. I like to
It's
act
not
like
your nature, Jack. No,
no.
No,
you're
we
not
know
a
that. We know.
you're not an aggressive person.
Well, I might be when I'm angry and I might act like it, but
You
like in
know,
high school,
anger's different to having an aggressive attitude to life. That's not you at all.
well, in
You
high
know.
school, my bullies pushed me once too far one day. I went to punch them and I held myself back, and then they just kicked the crap out of me. But so you could
Well,
say, oh, probably
Well,
wasn't the best thing I
we
did.
could definitely put that down as a moral win.
yes. It's the moral win. Yes. You did get them one way.
I know, I was sat
And
there bleeding and smiling like I
if
did the
you could
right
have just
thing.
let your knee
Yes.
release a bit for a quick jab in the bollocks as well, that would have been great, obviously.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you did
Well,
well.
yes.
But
Well
you
done,
did
sir.
well.
And
But
if I could talk to RTD, which would be impossible, but if I could talk to him, I would probably apologize for this post and just shake on it
yeah,
because you know
but the thing is, you would obviously you would because A, you're decent, and B, you don't want to have a problem with RTD. But there's a couple of things that have come out here that I think we need to unpack a little. The first is
Yeah.
this writers' strike and why RTD was supporting it, and why is he so sensitive to being confronted on it. And the second is this question you raised, Jack, of not wanting to start any kind of campaign. And we need to make that clear too. We're just relaying the facts of what happened. We're not calling
Yes.
for action.
Exactly.
Jack doesn't need
Exactly.
anyone to represent him. He's here representing himself.
Amen. Yep. Absolutely.
So, we don't control what others do, but we do choose what to put our own energies into. And my feeling about this is that there's going to be a lot more to question RTD about in the very near future. Because if he's being like this now, I think as the pressure ramps, we're going to see more outbursts. But let's come to this writer's strike then. Because what we don't have right here is actually RT's opening thread post on this Instagram thread, because he was essentially saying, I'm having a solidarity day for the writers' strike in America, and fine as far as it goes. I just see if I could scroll up here and find the original post and read out what the actual text was. So rolling my finger as fast as it will go. Here we are. The original tweet was Writers Guild of Great Britain Day of Solidarity with the Writers Guild of America to fight for better pay, conditions, staffing, and respect. All power, respect, and support to the WGA. The fight is on. Hashtag Writers Guild of Great Britain. Hashtag WGGB at WGA West at WGA East at Writers Everywhere. So what I'm going to do, actually, Gobby, I'm just going to pop that over to you as a
Yes,
old
mate.
DME job, so that you've got that to pop up. But he's got another
Yep.
reply under it on this one, which I'll just very swiftly cutting out, and I'm going over there, and I'm moving another click, and I'm clicking here, and I'm clicking there, and I'm going post, and I'm pressing enter. Right, so you've got
Right.
that to put up on the screen.
As soon as I get some.
So, what is this writer's strike and why is it happening? And why is Jack essentially correct in thinking that if they just did their jobs better, none of this would be necessary? Basically, because if they just did their jobs better, none of this would be necessary. But it's not just for It's not just for writers. It's the actors and it's the studios. And as we all know, for the last 8 years or so, they've been serving up what they think we should see rather than what we want to see.
Pretty much, yep.
And the disconnect and the dissonance has just grown larger and larger and larger and larger and larger till we had the point where the studios who've insisted on going down this path are now seriously in trouble. And guess what? This trinity of forces, writers, actors, the actors will be on strike very soon, by the way. Writers, actors, and studios have created this completely false fugazi. And the fact is that the economics of it mean it just can't continue. So what we know is happening is that the studios are quite happy these strikes are going on because they'd rather that the strikes went on, that they kept the strikes going long enough that they can cancel all these crappy contracts and flush them all down the bog. That's what's actually going on.
And can they sack all these people like
Well,
any normal person would?
They could, if they breach their contract by remaining on strike long enough, yes.
They can.
So it's more like the writers have had to go on strike because they're screwed if they don't. But going on strike doesn't have the power to change anything. As for changing things, well, it was a very hot day yesterday. The weather was very nice. I myself partook of an orange juice ice lolly, and it was fabulous. So just maybe the writers of Great Britain fancy a day off.
Yes, I'm agreeing with that.
A day of solidarity with the Writers Guild of America doesn't actually mean or achieve Sweet Fanny Adams.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, they're back at work today and they're getting paid.
Yeah.
So this is very much a posture post from RTD.
Yep.
It doesn't mean anything serious. He's going to mess about, have a day off. Yeah, I mean, he's going to virtue signal with it and say, writers united. But the reality is, he's not united with his writers at all because he's still writing.
Exactly.
And, perhaps he doesn't want to be challenged about that. And perhaps also, given how drastically the situation deteriorated since the Disney Plus deal was announced, maybe the way that Disney and its actions are right at the heart of this writer's strike, while he's got a deal to distribute Doctor Who with them, which makes him a little bit sensitive.
That's exactly right.
You reckon he got annoyed because deep down he knew I was telling the truth?
Yes.
Honestly,
because they all know. That's why they all deny it.
But RTD, I didn't say these things. I just have to say this. I didn't say this because I was a troll. I said this out of anger because I know what you're capable of.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen your original era.
Anger's not the word you want. Anger's too stark. You've got sorrow in the middle of this. You've got heartache.
Yeah.
That's not anger. That's hurt. There's hurt at the heart of this. There's hurt that we can't have the quality of show we used to have because all this stuff gets in the way. There's hurt that we want the show to survive and have a future, but we see it being played about with and jeopardized.
Yep.
I think everybody in the comments here can relate to that hurt.
Yeah, sure we can.
And hey, I can hear the other lot now. Hey, suck it up, Granddad. Eat it, man, babies. Hey, we've eaten so much of it, we're full.
Yeah, we've
It
had
still
enough.
don't make us wrong. It still don't make you right, and it still don't magic audiences out of thin air.
Exactly. So perhaps he does realise you're right,
I
because the
think it's
worm is
perfectly
turning.
possible.
Yeah, because the worm is turning. They're all slowly but steadily realising that people have had enough now of this, and they're turning away, or in other cases, boycotting and refusing to watch. So there is I think there's a big movement away, and so potentially he may realise you're actually right.
We've got to talk about this, Robbie. I want to make something really clear to everybody. Right?
Yeah, feel free,
It
mate.
it doesn't matter at this point if we boycott or don't boycott Russell's
No,
Doctor Who. Right? The reason is it isn't down to us.
no,
How many real hardcore classic Who fans are really left active in fandom these days?
yeah, exactly.
I don't want
Exactly.
to pop anyone's bubbles, but we've made a huge difference to get ourselves to get the show to this point. We've made a huge difference to get the show a chance to keep itself going. It's not
Yeah,
our fault if creators aren't up to the job.
exactly.
And, it's a bit gobsmacking, really, isn't it? But
It is. It is.
we could do what we like. We could watch it, we could not watch it. The J-Box could watch it or not watch it. Anyone who's watched Doctor Who in the last 5 years can watch it or not watch it. It won't make a difference. What
No, yeah,
matters is nothing to do with anything that's going to happen in the UK. In fact, I think that the new version of the show will be more popular than Chibnall Who in the UK. Maybe I don't think we're going to get stellar viewing figures. That would be a lot to hope for, but I think it's going to consistently pull in more than 6
no. Well, yeah, it's
in
definitely
the UK.
in the
But none of
UK.
that. But it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter, and the reason it doesn't matter is that the BBC will not produce Doctor Who solo ever again.
Yeah, exactly.
So the only thing that matters with regards to Russell's version of Doctor Who is, can it pull in and retain new viewers to Disney Plus?
Which is in trouble.
That's the real problem.
Yeah, that is the real problem.
And if Russell doesn't know at this point that that's a real problem, then Russell is a fool.
Yes,
But it seems to me the scripts were written, the scripts are shot.
it's all done, isn't it?
The post credit, the post effects work is being done. You can tweak it a bit in the edit, take a line in, put a line out, that sort of thing. ADR, you could do certain things that might tweak it a bit, but it's already too late.
Yeah, it's in the can, really, isn't it?
It's already too late. Russell T Davies has decided that the way that Doctor Who should approach the American market is with Jasmine Finney and Dukes Monsoon and Neil Patrick Harris, who, as Bonejaw rightly points out, is a bit of an iffy character himself.
Yeah,
And these are the people that the show is going to be introducing itself with and saying, hi, brand new American audience, because the previous American audience died.
yeah, it's dead, gone.
Hi, brand new American audience. We need you to pay money and take out a subscription to Disney Plus to watch our show there. And it's no good thinking that retaining subscribers will do it. Disney Plus is 8 million down on its subscriber targets. Right? It's hemorrhaging the subscribers. So simply retaining isn't enough. Doctor Who has to bring in. And to be honest, I don't think it's looking too likely. So all of that is context there. And there's no need for us to go off and have a campaign about boycotting Doctor Who. It won't change a damn thing.
No, it's
What we need to do perhaps is focus on the Doctor Who that we want to have, and if the Doctor Who we get doesn't match that, then just keep pushing for the show to stay close to its roots.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't bring an audience on Disney Plus, Yeah, Shooty's contract is for 1 year.
Yeah, it is. It's a 1 year one, isn't it? So,
And let's consider the Vogue cover.
yeah.
Because not only is the cover remarkable and would not have been allowed, I don't think, when the BBC had full control of the show.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think
Absolutely
they would
not.
let David Tennant do that.
No, God, no.
David Tennant might not want to put his skinny, bony Welsh,
Maybe not, no.
Scottish bod on display, but that's not the point,
No.
you know. But accompanying that was a very substantial feature article.
Yes.
And if you go on to read that, you'll find that Doctor Who gets very little coverage.
He barely mentions it. It's
And,
barely
and is
mentioned.
covered as pretty much just something Shooty happens to be doing at the moment, which is good for Shooty because he gets to bring representation. Yay, Shooty, but really he's focused on the bigger, better things ahead.
Well, I mean, the video I did with about, tell me how this is going to save the show. The bit I read out, that was all that was mentioned in Vogue magazine.
Yeah.
That little tiny bit, that was it. So,
but I could promise everyone, Shooty Gatwa is fine. Whatever happens, Shooty Gatwa is fine. You know, he'll be offered to his next role before he can blink. Yeah, it's RTD
that's got
who
the problem.
could end up having the biggest fall imaginable.
Yes, massively.
I'm starting to think he deserves it.
Well,
yeah.
As I've said, showrunners in other fandoms regularly cuss out fans, block fans, shit on fans. They don't think anything of it. Who cares these days? You know, so in part we are lingering where we had a culture which has been destroyed.
Yes, completely.
It's certainly not been preserved in any way by the BBC.
Oh no.
So that culture of respectful fandom really only exists amongst us.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist amongst the fans who came on in 2018 onwards. It certainly doesn't exist in them.
No.
You know, they've got the opposite. They want Russell T Davies to tell government to fuck off. They want to tell Rishi Sunak to go fuck himself 6 ways to sideways 7 days a week. That's what they want.
Yeah.
You know, they want Doctor Who aimed as a weapon against the forces of conservatism.
Yep.
Well, that's going to murder the show.
Yeah.
The thing is, I haven't, since I've been a fan, I loved his original era, got into Classic Who. I was never a fan of Moffat. I've never hid that. I still watched it, and there was the occasional great episode here and there. Then the Chibnall era happened, and now this looks like it's going to happen. So it's been about 13 years since I've loved Doctor Who. So that's more than half my lifetime ago. Why am I still here?
Yeah, I think that's a question a lot of people are asking right now.
When it became clear to me that Chibnall Who was a disaster, my immediate response was to get on the boots, put on the war hat, and start fighting to get the bugger out and change it.
Yeah.
I will not be doing that again.
No, because he didn't go anywhere, did he?
We bought these creators this chance to put this back on track and save this franchise. If they blow it, they blow it, and we'll just have to find something else to like.
Sadly, yeah.
I'm terribly realist today. I'm sorry, boys. It's
it's true.
It's the cold light of truth,
Well, it
is. So, yeah. It's not even worth telling. It's not even worth telling RTD to go fuck off back because he's already fucked himself.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to go too much into this, but I don't know if you guys know, when I was young and full of creativity, I wanted to make a Doctor Who video game, like design it, and I wanted to share it with RTD. But seeing the way he's behaving, he strikes me as the kind of person, I'd bring all this stuff in, he'd say, oh, it's lovely, and then he'd just scrunch it up and throw it in the bin when I left.
Yeah.
Because it didn't come from him, it didn't come from his Fitzroy cult.
Exactly, yeah.
I think everybody here by now knows what the Fitzroy Tavern, the Fitzroy cult is. It's the group of creatives who took over Doctor Who during the wilderness years.
That's a very interesting word there.
It is, but it's what happened.
Creative.
Creative,
well,
you mean?
well, they were quite creative back then. Some of them are still reasonable
Can we all
creative
just
today.
agree
You
that
know?
Nick Briggs needs to stop playing the Daleks so we can get someone in with an actual threatening voice to play them?
It would be nice, wouldn't it? It would
Because
be
I
nice.
swear, I watched the Dalek. I don't know what's happened, but I don't hear
Hmm.
them the same way now. Now I just hear them really camp. Even in the Day of the Daleks remake, he's like, "Whoever is operating the time machine," and I'm just like, "Oh my god!" And then I go back and I listen to the '60s Daleks. I think they sound
Well,
bloody awesome.
it's a cliche, isn't it? Big Finish exists to keep Nick Briggs employed.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
it's like. Do you
Yeah.
remember when the Daleks used to change? Can we ditch the bronze? Can we ditch the guy who hasn't got the good voice to play them? Can we just have a change, please? You know, they just want to keep everything for themselves, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
You
I
know, it's
agree.
time for fresh blood, new people.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, in the material I've put out in the last 5 years, and much more specifically in some of the stuff I've done with Gobbing, I think the anti-white bias stream in particular,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, we've discussed these creatives in depth,
Yeah, we really
and
have.
we've described accurately how there was a war taking place over Doctor Who from 2013 onwards. And,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, what we see in Russell here is the bunker mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
100%.
it's his show. It's his again to do what he wants to with.
Yep.
And,
Absolutely.
you know, if you're making a show that, you know, may or may not get cancelled that season, sure. You know,
Yeah.
do what you think is right. Follow your artistic vision. Succeed or fail, sure. But when you're talking about sci-fi's greatest franchise,
Yeah.
it's not good enough. It
No.
can't be. It can't survive on one man's ego.
No, it really can't.
Let
And it
someone
doesn't
else have a
matter
play.
if it doesn't matter if that man's called Chris Chibnall or Russell T Davies.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, the BBC could have had a new showrunner. There were some candidates that
There
had
was.
promise,
They did.
you know, but they chose not to go that route. And I think if it wasn't for Russell T Davies, the show would at this point be cancelled. So we
Yeah.
do at least have that to appreciate him for.
But
What he delivers is going to have to knock us all out of the park, because
and I don't think
the
really,
cynicism and the pessimism, but the relentless obsession in the marketing is creating,
it's
and
not good.
I don't think it's actually creating a positive buzz the other side.
No, I
They're
don't think it is
still,
either.
half of them are still too hurt about David Tennant replacing Jodie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's not like they're thinking about the show. Fine, cop fond. I don't know who this marketing is supposed to be bringing in.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, we've all seen it, and it's just like it's pandering, isn't it? It's pandering hires. You know, we haven't heard of any, you know, what I would call box ticking character.
Then we've got Doomsday, which is unleashed itself this week to such a damp squid nobody even heard it go off.
No,
You
and
know,
it's not.
but
It's not doing well
again,
at all.
the assumption was made when it was obvious this was going to be so bad that RTD couldn't have had anything to do with it. But maybe that's not true.
I think he did. I genuinely
You
think he
know,
did.
maybe he thinks Suze Kempner is just the right person to unleash on fandom.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy thinks Phoebe Waller-Bridge was the right person to unleash on the
Oh,
indie fans.
oh dear Lord, don't.
don't wanna worry
Is there a
anyone.
difference?
I don't want to worry anyone, but I've heard someone mention that RTD mentioned her name.
Oh, please.
Talented writer.
Yeah. She's so
Amazon is paying her $60 million to achieve so far absolutely nothing towards a Tomb Raider franchise, but that's supposed to be what she's now going to be focused on.
Well, that's that gone.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know about that Tomb Raider franchise surviving when Indy Jones flops, but hey, there we go.
Yeah,
Can we?
yeah.
Let's bring this back to Jack because I'm terrible monopolising conversations. Sorry. let's talk about. Do you happy to? Should we talk about this second post now, Jack? Your response to being told to fuck off.
Okay, well, I just want to put a few things first before you
Sure,
take over,
sure.
John. First of all, if anyone's read The Homosexuality, that was a typo. That was a
Ooh, the
typo.
homosexuality. Ooh,
Ooh.
And it's another reason
oh,
why
it's
I
a bit
really
sharp, that homosexuality.
it's another
I get
reason
that.
why I wish I could delete this, but I can't. So just
Yeah.
Bloody
bear that in mind,
typos.
or at least adjust it for obvious
Yes. Could
Yeah.
reasons.
have edited it. Yeah, yeah.
I
Don't
don't
worry
view
about
you. I don't view you as objects, so I'm awfully sorry if anyone's read that and gone, "Wait, hold on." So, yeah, yeah, and also keep in mind that my heart was pounding massively and my blood was boiling when I wrote
Yeah.
this, and
it. Understandable.
I had to blow him a kiss back because I did kind of want to rub salt in the wound a bit.
It's like, I mean,
Yeah,
you were in shock. You were in shock. You were hurt.
yeah,
You
big,
know, and
massive.
okay, you know, some people might go, "Oh, what are you doing, feeling hurtful?" Yeah, but we understand. We
We do.
really do understand.
100%.
And this second tweet post reflects that hurt. But what made me respond to it so strongly, Jack, is that you're you're bearing your soul to this man.
Massively, yeah.
I mean, I think you're being far too open and far too generous, but that's your spirit and your nature, you know.
Yes.
But I think part of what made this so bad for you was to do that, and in response to just be blocked.
I mean,
You
Yeah.
know,
I don't think a certain someone else helped by speaking on my behalf, but
well,
Now,
but that's the internet. You know, again, Russell should know he's talking to you,
yes.
not other people reacting to how he's just treated you.
it's not that I don't appreciate the help. Of course, I'm not slagging that person. I'm actually quite honoured, but you know, I was interested to see how if he would respond to that, and then I come back to find that I can't
Yeah,
see
he did
anything anymore.
respond.
So
Yeah, block, block,
block.
block,
Yeah.
block, block, block. Yeah, that's the response. Um, but I think this is what's also to me about your story, right? Because look, no disrespect, right, to any to the time prophet, but you're if I compare you two together, right, the time prophet has a very defined state of mind, right? He's made a decision about how he feels about the show, and he's very firm about sticking to his line,
Definitely
right?
firm.
So if this was the time prophet saying this to RTD, it's different than you saying it to
Yeah.
RTD, and the reason is that you know you've really been on this journey that this version of the show is supposed to be all about. But it doesn't actually register or matter a shit. And that's awful. You know, that's just so careless and dismissive and ignorant of RTD that he couldn't find a way to respond to your second post.
Yeah. Because,
Well, there is that too, but you know, sorry, I picked you as the example type prophet because we all know
we all know you, Tom.
you do keep a firm line.
Yes, a very firm line. It
Yes.
does not waver. It does not bend. Which is what I like about him the most.
except when we catch him giving new Who stories bees.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the ones that say blind he's never
that won't slip past the guard.
But no, but it's.
After you drop it.
No, I was just saying the response that you gave back, Jack, was it to me. It showed how much that hurt and how nasty it cut you to the bone. And I fully understand the need to respond because I'm a bit like that as well. So,
It's just whether I like it or not. He was one of my childhood heroes, and
exactly.
his era was my Doctor Who, and that's never going to change. So to have the person who made that, you know, basically tell you to go away. It kind of feels like, I'm at a convention queuing to meet him, and he just because I wasn't wearing the right pride shirt or had the correct beliefs,
Yeah,
just
you didn't have the right
basically
opinion that morning.
yeah, just basically
Yeah.
told me to turn around and just go away. You're not welcome here.
Which
And
is wrong.
I mean,
to blow me a kiss. Sorry, just before you go, but to blow me a kiss as well in such a smug way
it's had enough.
really made
Yeah.
it hit home all the more.
Oh
You
God,
know,
yeah. Oh yeah. My back would be up, massively up.
It's kind of it's a bit of a sadistic thing. I'm going to punch you and kiss you at the same time.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not right.
it's an aggressive thing. It's
Yeah,
not
it
it's
is.
not a it's not sincere affection. It's
No,
it's I've
it
kissed
really
you
isn't.
off, isn't it? It's I've kissed
Yeah,
you off. Kiss off sort of thing. So it's just terribly shallow.
it
But
is.
then that
Mm.
seems like Russell has no argument to support the writers' strike.
No,
And
it
and
didn't.
how can he? Because the economics make no damn sense. But here's the thing, it's Russell T Davies who's been spent the last few years slamming the streaming services.
Oh God, massively. He's made a point of doing it. He really has.
I mean, his criticisms were on the basis of you don't get good telly. I don't think that's actually proving to be true.
No, I disagree with him a lot there.
But that was his sort of the BBC's great kind of stick that he was on.
Yeah,
We
but
all need vast publicly funded broadcasters.
no, we
Just
don't.
to make, yeah, right. But
Yeah, no.
and I
in
just want
terms of
to. Sorry.
how writers are getting paid, they could demand what they like, but surely they know there's some economics behind the whole thing. They must
Yeah.
do,
I just want
and
to.
it's having its way with them.
Yeah, it is. Go on then. Go
I
on,
just
Jack.
want to. Sorry. I know I
No,
keep speaking at the wrong time.
no. This is yours, mate. It's
This is
yours.
your program. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just want to respond to Joe Wilson. I think RTD gets far too much credit. Actually, it was Jane Tranter who decided to bring the show back, and he was also helped by Julie Gardner, Phil Collinson, Gareth Roberts, and many others. It wasn't just him, but he seems to always be the poster boy. So I am
Yeah.
aware that his original era consisted of many talent, many wonderful people who, even when you watch the confidentials, it all seems like a laugh and a fun time behind the scenes. And I had a wonderful experience meeting David Tennant and Catherine Tate. Couldn't have gone better. And I always worry, when you meet your heroes, will it not go well with it? No, Catherine Tate, the most lovely person I've ever met. So I am not going to let this horrible experience ruin Doctor Who for me or ruin my past for me, because if I do, then he's won.
Amen. Well said.
And I'm
Well
not
said.
having
Brilliantly said.
Brilliant.
Brilliantly said.
So
Well,
for me, Doctor Who will always be special, and it might take me a couple of years to recover, because I will admit I watched series 1 recently. Now that's my favorite series. A lot of people don't know that, but I love it. I adore it, and it was just a bit sour, and I think I'm going to need a while to recover from this. But I refuse to let this incident just make me go away and never come back, because that's not fair.
amen.
It's not fair that I should have to go away and think I'm the bad person, that I've done something wrong. And that is how I felt. It was how I felt last night, and I was debating, like whether I should even be doing this today.
We live our own lives,
Yep.
and we own our own pasts.
Yeah.
And the present can only in any way spoil or ruin the past if we allow it.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, this is a discussion that's been going on in fandom for some time now.
Oh, it has been. Yeah.
And there's a number of fans who were just so upset by what we were seeing being served up on the screen that they just had to walk away from the whole show, and they couldn't even watch classic anymore because it was all too upsetting.
Yep.
And those bitches and Chibnall, when they put the Timeless Children script together and they put that stuff in with Brain and Morbius, they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. Of course they
It
did.
was put in to hurt people and to make them give up on their version of the past, their version of the show. And, you know, look how fandom as a whole rejected that.
Yeah.
So your past, Jack, your happiness, your memories, what Doctor Who meant to you at the time you were watching it in your life, how it helped you in your life growing up, all of the things being a fan of the show has done to you, that's all yours. But you own it. It is nobody else's.
Yeah, it's yours.
And it's certainly not RTD's.
Yeah, absolutely.
His job is to listen to his audience. Sadly, it's what he doesn't seem to want to do.
No.
And that's not a good sign for the future for any of us.
No,
You know,
it really
so
is.
an RTD telling you to fuck off is RTD telling thousands of us to fuck off.
Well, I'm going to not do what he's told me to do, and I'm going to carry on being a Doctor Who fan. I'm going to make artwork, and I'm going to carry on being that despite him.
How many hours is it now, Goppy? You know, in We Love Doctor Who streams.
God, we've done loads.
I'm sorry I haven't been able to make most of them.
We must have passed 2 days worth of content by now.
Easy.
Yeah,
we've done a lot.
We've done 2 days of non-stop gobbing about how bloody ace Doctor Who is.
Yep.
Yeah, and in all of it, we've always said all along we can't stand the Chibnall era.
Yep, absolutely.
So if it turns out that I can't stand RTD's era either, it doesn't change a thing. I haven't lost anything. I've still own all the Doctor Who, which is my Doctor Who.
Yep, amen.
Yeah, all of those memories, all those life experiences, and everything, all those stories to me, they're never, ever, 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 ever getting out of me.
No, there are memories and we hold them.
I only encourage everybody else to feel the same,
and it is
whether we watch it or not.
And it is going to be hard for me because I'm a huge fan of watching the confidentials and just seeing RTD. It's going to be hard for me because I'm like, oh, there's the guy who told me to F off. You know, so it's gonna. And look, maybe I was a little rash in the way I worded it. Fair enough. How does he feel about the situation? I don't know, and I'm never gonna know because he blocked me. So I can't.
It's also worth pointing out that when you compose your post on Instagram, if you put in brackets offensive language, you get a prompt, don't you, that tells you people don't post like this on Instagram. You know, you should post with courtesy and respect and blah, blah, blah. But not if you've got a blue tick, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Because it's Zuckerberg land, and the blue tick still reigns supreme in Zuckerberg land. You can't buy a blue tick. You have to be anointed.
Yes, you have to be granted.
You have to ascend.
Yes, yes. So you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, and it's the other side of that too. You know. Yeah. Back to you, Jack. What else have we got? What else do we need? Did you need to bring out here?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose just how I'm feeling about it now. Do I regret making it? I'm not sure, but I've had 2 reactions to it, and I was telling Lee about this. On the one hand, I'm heartbroken because you know I said, well, I don't know. I'm gonna let everyone debate on whether what I said was right or wrong, but I'm kind of mixed on it, but what I just want to say is that I'm not saying to people, you know, oh, this is a sign that you shouldn't watch or you shouldn't. I'll admit what I did last night was wrong. I shouldn't have come straight into the group and I shouldn't have been like, look what he did to me. I was hurt and like the emotional wimp I am, I was looking for attention. Did I expect you guys to literally go to war for me? No. And when I realised, I was like, oh my God, guys, stop.
Can we just be fair here? Yeah, nobody actually went to war. We just had there was a little bit of initial manoeuvres. Oi, no, calm it down. Oi, calm it now, calm it.
Yeah,
you know,
calm down. The thing is,
there was a concern that there'd be something involved, but in fact, we tamped it down.
Yeah, and also to be fair, Jack, the group that you discussed, we're all good friends, and that's what it's there for. We're there for each other, and you should never feel like that. You know, you came in because rightly you were miffed and annoyed at the best, and that's what we're there for. No need to apologise coming into the group.
On the other hand, if it had been like, rah, yeah, war,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying it couldn't happen.
Fix bayonet, over the walls, lads.
That's a good battle, Gobby.
Yes,
yeah. But
no.
Calm it down.
Yeah,
but the thing is, we know when to go and not to go. And we could see pretty quickly this was not a go hard situation.
No, this definitely wasn't.
The other side of how I was feeling, so that was the one side. The other side is actually feeling quite liberated. Now, I know some of you might think, wait, what? But it's true. I genuinely feel like I've had a huge brick lifted off my shoulders because I now know that I am not going to get emotionally invested in anything that comes after. It's almost as if, Doctor Who is now something that I can always appreciate what it once was, but I don't have to worry about the future. If it's a success, brilliant. If it's a failure, don't care. And I feel like RTD, I can't believe this. I know this is the strangest thing to say, but him telling me to F off has actually done that for me. So,
are any of us going to be surprised if Doctor Who gets cancelled after a year on Disney Plus? Are any of us going to be surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Are any of us really going to be going, oh no, we've got to save Doctor Who again, or we're just going to go, fuck it, this is not the time?
No.
So, it's on the one hand I'm heartbroken, on the other hand I'm actually quite free. But I tell you,
it is liberating for you, Jack. Because here you go. Hey, it's clear to me now. I understand the clouds have blown away. I have clarity. It's really simple. He's a cunt. That's all there is to it. I'll get on something else more interesting. I'll go and don't do something fun.
I'm not saying I was an innocent victim who didn't do anything wrong. I did come at it a bit too hard. I should have watched how I worded it. Usually I do. Usually I've made a lot of comments on RTD's post and then deleted them the second later because I thought, do you know what? I could leave that there, but I'm not the kind of person that's prepared for an argument. So delete. I just didn't expect him to respond so quickly. that's the truth of it. By the time I was there showing Lee, like, oh, look at me.
But he wasn't actually working, you see. He was slacking off.
Nothing to do.
He's probably on his phone on a park bench with a nice lolly, He goes, fuck you, mate.
Yeah.
That's not it, I mean,
I hope that was his lolly he had.
I don't think he ever thought it, basically. I don't think he ever thought it at all. But the thing is, when showrunners do things like that and they don't know who they're talking to, they don't know the reverberations and the repercussions of who they insult and how that diminishes morale, because that's what all of these things are doing, is just eroding that morale. And until we get to the 23rd of November, and we could see a fantastic episode of Doctor Who and have that to focus on and go, bloody hell, that was good, hopefully. Until we get to that point, everything which is eroding our morale is bad for the show.
Yeah, chipping away.
I'm sure
because as much as I've said, whether we watch or not ultimately doesn't matter, it's so much better to have us positive, energised, on side.
I'm sure the question that many...
But that doesn't seem to be anything that anybody seems to value.
I'm sure
certainly not BBC official.
I'm sure the question many people want to know is that will I be watching? And to answer that question, I don't know. To be honest, I really just don't know. I'm not quite sure how I feel at the moment. But I suppose just to sum it up before then I'm going to hand the stream to you guys because I don't really think there's much to say. Do I regret what I did? A little bit. I think I've made a bit of an ass of myself personally by posting this on a post that had nothing to do with Doctor Who in the first place. I think I probably shouldn't have done it, but with what has happened, it's just kind of made me see, well, if any fans ever do this, if they ever complain, just brace yourself because you could be in for a similar response. So I'm just warning you now. Like I say, RTD didn't know who I was. He could have thought I was a troll. He could have thought I was someone just trying to stir, and that's fine. There was no way for him to know who I was. So, I'm sorry things turned out the way it did, and I hope if things do go well and all of our worries and fears aren't justified, then I hope when I stand in the queue to meet him, he won't realise that I was that person.
You want to wear a t-shirt? You want to wear a t-shirt? We say you told me to fuck off.
Of course, we completely respect your perspective, Jack. But
Absolutely, mate.
You must understand. We also disagree in that you didn't do anything wrong.
No, you didn't do it.
There was nothing unreasonable. There was nothing unlawful about your post whatsoever. You didn't breach any Instagram terms and conditions. It was simply a strongly expressed opinion. And believe it or not, you're allowed to do that in a free society.
Yes, apparently so. So
here's something else I will tell you about freedom. It's only freedom if you can actually bloody use it.
Exactly.
So, let's just call the whole thing RTD's problem. We've got a question from Joe Wilson asking what Starhoovian said. I can answer that because he also felt that he should call him out for what he did. Starhoovian said, "Interesting to learn you told a long-time Doctor Who fan to fuck off for wanting good stories first and foremost. Where is the respect there? Question mark, relating back to the original tweet, all power, respect and support to WGA." And that got him blocked by RTD.
Yay! You're in the club.
Yeah, so he's fine about that too. Well, I mean, this has been a fascinating thing to discuss.
Yeah,
I hope above all, I hope this stream has helped Jack.
Yeah, I hope it has, Jack. That's that's where here, and I hope it has helped you in some way.
And also, if we have got anybody goes out there and goes for Jack in some way over this, then there's this stream now to go, oi, perspective.
Yeah.
And I think you've represented yourself very well, Jack.
Yeah, well done, Jack.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And I think it's shown me that I have a great community here. And if one good thing has come from these past 6 years of hell, it's being lucky to meet all you guys. So thanks for having me.
Well, I want another good thing to come out of this. I want your ass back on our live streams over the next couple of weeks before it's too late.
Well, yeah, Series 10, I actually might have some opinions that surprise you. So, yeah.
Well, the first half of Series 10 tomorrow at 5:30, second half of Series 10 the following week at the same time.
Well, I haven't got work, so I should be able to make it.
If you're there, you can tell us what you reckon.
Then, Jack, I shall fire you off.
It's too long since we had you on the stream, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah,
if you guys had a poster for your series, I would probably be this tiny character at the back. Oh, he was in episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, we need a poster, don't we, Gobby? Do we know any brilliant artists?
Do we know any brilliant artists?
Somewhat rabbit obsessed who could perhaps cook up a poster.
I don't know. I should have to look online.
I'll just leave that there as a hint,
Unless you all want to be bunnies, I don't know.
No, I'm not bothered.
Yeah, do it. But Doctor Who bunnies. Yeah.
Doctor Who bunnies.
John the White Bunny.
Awesome.
I would get to see White Rabbits and grab all the luck. Yes, Blake 7 is coming up next.
Yes, we should be doing Blake 7.
Not in 2 weeks. Not in 2 weeks, because once we finish going through series by series, we have a few specials planned.
Yes, we do, and then we'll go on to Blake 7.
And then we get into Blake 7. Yes.
Oh, that'll be fun.
We have secured the services of an expert Blake 7 fan for the whole series.
That'll help, because I'm going to have to start watching episodes and catching up.
Absolutely. Right.
Absolutely. Right then.
Well, thank you, Jack. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for letting me part of it, Gobby. I hope I've been helpful.
I'm sure you have. It's Jack that it's nice for Jack to be able to get out here and sort of put his point across in a a nice, supportive, and friendly atmosphere. And I hope that everything's okay with you now, Jack. And you know where we are, mate.
Yeah, and thanks for doing this for me, guys. And just want to say, Nick Briggs, I did love you as the Dalek. Sorry if that was if you're watching and you get really upset.
He'll go off the stream and he'll have a message from Nick Briggs saying "fuck off."
Oh, I hope he does it in the Dalek voice, like "fuck off."
Awesome. So I think with that, we shall bring it to a close, if that's okay with you, gentlemen. I haven't actually got an outro video loaded up on here at the moment. So what?
We'll just have to end.
I'm just gonna have to stop.
The start finality.
Yeah, just gone. Right then, gentlemen.
Ready for Oblivion?
Yes,
3,
into Oblivion.
2,
In 3,
1,
2, 1. Goodbye.